Miyamoto Musashi bowed to no one. He was a masterless warrior in the late 1500s, in other words, Ronin. The great samurai is said to have been in 60 duels undefeated. However, it is assumed that the deaths by his hand in the big battles hasn't been included in these 60 duels. Every fight that he had was to the death. Starting at age 13, he successfully won his first duel. He sought out on a journey to perfect his unique two-sword style. He won all of his duels, never treating the current like the past and always adapting. Miyamoto Musashi's mastery extended beyond just sword fighting. He was an accomplished Buddhist practitioner, philosopher, and writer. He emphasized that becoming the best swordsman entailed becoming proficient in calligraphy, as well as creating poetry and artwork. In the final days of his life, Musashi retired from swordsmanship with an undefeated record. He retreated to a cave called the Reigando, which simply means Spirit Rock Cave. In that cave, he spent the final months of his life meditating and writing his views on the world. While secluded in the cave, he wrote two works, the Book of Five Rings and the Dokkodo. He became a legend throughout Japan, transitioning into a monk and then starting to write. It appears that Musashi aimed to preserve the wisdom he had acquired on his journey. His books delve into intricate details of his journey, martial arts, strategy, and philosophical insights that continue to hold relevance today. The Path of Aloneness. The Dokkodo is an arcane text, as concise as it is wise, distilling Musashi's philosophy and way of living into 21 precepts. To fully understand Musashi's 21 rules, we need to start with his concept of the way. Although it may seem complicated on the surface, at its heart is simply the path or set of principles that shape a particular thought system or art form. In Japan, you'll see this term used frequently in reference to traditional skills and codes. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. Accept everything just the way it is. In a turbulent world, it can be overwhelming to stay optimistic, but don't lose hope. Instead of spending hours pondering over events outside of your influence, take action and work towards improving yourself and your circumstances. You must choose to take hold of what you can control and let go of what you cannot. You cannot control your circumstances, but you can control your character. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control the choices you make. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the process. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Do not lose the treasure of yourself for the pleasure of senses. There is a certain amount of honor that can be gained with giving up pleasures for higher pursuits. If we seek pleasure for only the sake of pleasure, you may have instant gratification, but you will never get sustained pleasure. Life is about the journey, not the destination. The point is that often while chasing something, we forget about other things along the way. Enjoy the moment and get pleasure in the process, not chase pleasure at all costs. Do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partial feeling. You must be sure of where you put your foot before you step. The meaning here is not to get confused, to keep your head clear, and only act when you're certain. There are thousands of things going in our heart and mind that tells us what to do. Don't get confused with these temporary feelings, rather stay quiet and wait till clarity comes. Control your emotions or be consumed by them. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Wisdom comes with humility. It's impossible to learn from others when all we hear is our own voice. Living with a narrow focus means missing out on important details in life that can give context to our actions and deep meaning to everyday experiences. But an open mind opens doors to discovery. Being aware of what's happening beyond ourselves broadens horizons and allows for learning opportunities at every turn. Be detached from desire your whole life long. It's natural to want more out of life, better job, bigger house, more money. The list goes on and on. However, constantly pursuing these things can be draining and unfulfilling if not balanced with gratitude and contentment in the present moment. Goal setting is admirable, but it should not consume us entirely. We must remember what truly matters beyond achievements alone. Rather than comparing ourselves with others' achievements or possessions, which are often superficial indicators of happiness, we should strive for our own unique path. Do not regret what you have done. Being aware of how our actions impact our circumstances is important. However, sometimes we find ourselves wishing we had acted differently in certain situations. It's important not to wallow in self-pity or anger towards ourselves for our past failures. Instead, take responsibility by striving for greater self-awareness. This will enable us to not only reconcile with our shortcomings, but also lead fuller lives, being the truest versions of ourselves possible. Never be jealous. A feeling that breeds negativity all around us while simultaneously eroding any trust that once existed between ourselves and others. Impeding personal growth, too, is another way that jealousy can hold us back from truly living life the way we want to live it. By choosing not to be ruled by this senseless emotion, we are better able to focus on our own accomplishments while building healthier connections that not only foster trust, but are also rooted in respect. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. The ebb and flow of life brings with it a steady stream of people who touch our lives in various ways, some entering and exiting like swift breezes while others leaving deep footprints etched in our hearts forevermore. But what's most important isn't whether they're close at hand or distant. Rather, it's how we cherish their memory and carry on their legacy through our own actions. For when we keep those special individuals close within us, no matter where life may take us, their influence remains unwaveringly present. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. Why spend precious moments grumbling about things beyond your control when you can direct that same effort towards improving yourself or benefiting others? Complaining and fussing over worldly matters won't make time go any faster. Maturity is when you stop complaining and making excuses in your life. You realize everything that happens in life is a result of the previous choice you've made and start making new choices to change your life. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. It's important to treat ourselves with respect. While love can be unpredictable, it's crucial to avoid doing anything for someone that you wouldn't do for yourself. Lust is a dangerous emotion, and many men have sacrificed everything and been ruined by it. Love is a pure emotion, but a man can be blinded by it. You must maintain awareness, find your purpose, love it with more emotion than you've experienced for anyone. The more you love yourself, your path, and your destiny, the more the path rewards you. In all things, have no preferences. Embracing new experiences is essential for personal development. By keeping an open mind and trying things outside of your comfort zone, you can expand your horizons and discover unexpected opportunities in life. But refusing to break away from your usual routine could mean missing out on exciting prospects. The more preferences we have, the less flexible we become, and this will cause us to miss out on opportunities and better ways to do things. Be indifferent to where you live. Living is living. If you're unhappy with where you are, move, but in time you'll realize it's not where you live but how you live. Our internal problems will not be solved if we move to a different place or upgrade our standard of living. Don't try to fix an internal problem with an external solution. How we feel in life depends more on what we do than where we live. Remember the ancient Hermetic phrase, as above, so below, or as within, so without. It highlights the idea that our internal world reflects our outer world. Do not pursue the taste of good food. The pursuit of the taste of good food is the same kind of pleasure-seeking as lust. Remember, don't seek pleasure just for its own sake. It is recommended to eat food for the sake of health and not for the taste and pleasure that comes with it. Food should be seen as fuel for the body. You will stop appreciating simple food if you eat expansive and tasty food all the time. Be moderate with what you eat. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. Letting go of old possessions is one way to usher new experiences into your life. It's easy for the possessions of the past to pile up over time without us even realizing how much they're weighing us down emotionally and mentally. By periodically assessing which assets in our life are still adding value versus those that have served their purpose, you can make room for fresh opportunities and possibilities that come your way without feeling bogged down by unnecessary baggage from the past. Free yourself from a past that no longer serves you well and proceed toward the future. Do not act following customary beliefs. It can be easy to follow the crowd and do what everyone else is doing, but true fulfillment comes from forging your own path. Don't assume that traditional ways are always the best ways. Take ownership of your life and explore new possibilities. In doing so, you'll open yourself up to experiences and opportunities beyond what you ever thought possible. It's up to you to use your faculties and determine the best course of action. Don't let it be determined by popular opinion. Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful. Focus on and master only the things that matter to you. Focus on mastering a few things instead of being okay at many things. Don't try to be good at everything. There isn't enough time and energy for that. It's better to be a master swordsman than an apprentice in many weapons. Do not fear death. Death is an undeniable aspect of human existence that we must accept as part of life's cycle. Fearing its arrival will only add more anxiety and tension into our lives unnecessarily. Avoiding such fears allows us to focus on living a fulfilled existence every day without threat or worry, while recognizing that passing away merely represents moving on to another phase within this experience. Instead of fearing it, we should embrace it as a transformative process from one state to the next. Do not seek to possess either goods or fiefs for your old age. Live a purposeful life by gathering only what is necessary. Every moment counts, so don't waste your precious time on useless things. Remember that the possessions you accumulate in old age will not bring you joy, and you cannot take them with you when you leave this world. True fulfillment comes from living a purposeful life and leaving a lasting legacy that extends beyond material possessions. In the end, it is the moments and the impact we make that truly define our existence. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. The age-old saying that God helps those who help themselves holds true even today. Our faith and reverence for God should not diminish. However, we must also recognize our responsibility to take action instead of merely relying on divine intervention. In short, we must pray for guidance while simultaneously working hard towards success. Pray as if everything depends on the divine and act as if everything depends on your own efforts and actions. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. The concept of self-respect isn't new. It's been around since ancient times when warriors used to call it honor. These brave fighters have become famous through tales and legends for refusing to bow down before anyone, even if death was the only other option left for them. They never gave up on themselves despite losing battles. Instead, some chose harakiri in protest against disrespect or dishonor as a last resort out of sheer pride and principle. Don't do anything you can't live with for the rest of your life. Your actions make you. Never stray from the way. To live a fulfilling life, it's essential to remain true to oneself no matter what road one takes. Establishing a set of core values and principles is paramount in this pursuit. Certain lines must never be crossed, while some actions are simply not worth entertaining. To be true to yourself, to look straight into your own eyes reflected in the mirror and be loyal to the person you see, is to be bold indeed. The Book of the Five Rings. The 5 books of the Way of Strategy are briefly outlined: ground, water, fire, wind, and void. These books cover different aspects of strategy, including understanding the smallest and biggest things, adapting like water, fighting fiercely like fire, learning from other traditions, and appreciating the limitless nature of the way. This is the way for men who want to learn my strategy. Do not think dishonestly. The way is in training. Become acquainted with every art. Know the ways of all professions. Distinguish between gain and loss in worldly matters. Develop intuitive judgment and understanding for everything. Perceive those things which cannot be seen. Pay attention even to trifles. Do nothing which is of no use. The Ground Book. The Ground Book discusses the concept of strategy in the context of warfare and various other disciplines. It emphasizes the importance of understanding and practicing the way of strategy. Working with different ways such as the way of salvation, the way of learning, the way of healing, and the way of various arts and skills. The warrior's way is described as the twofold way of pen and sword, and that the warrior should have a taste for both ways. The warrior's way involves resolute acceptance of death and the study of strategy to overcome opponents. Strategy is not limited to sword fencing, but is a beneficial practice encompassing various aspects of life. The book also draws analogies between strategy and carpentry, emphasizing the importance of planning, skill, and adaptability. The Ground Book explains the significance of carrying 2 swords, the long sword and the companion sword. It suggests that using both swords provides advantages and flexibility in combat situations. The importance of training and mastering the use of weapons is emphasized. Overall, the text underscores the importance of continuous learning and mastery of weapons in the pursuit of the way. The Water Book. The Water Book explains the principles of strategy based on the concept of water. It emphasizes the importance of intuitive understanding rather than detailed explanations. The book discusses various aspects of strategy, including spiritual bearing, stance, gaze, grip, footwork, and 5 different approaches to combat. It also teaches the importance of timing, hitting the enemy effectively, and various cutting techniques. The overall philosophy of the book is to achieve victory by understanding and mastering the principles of water. Be like water making its way through cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object, and you shall find a way around or through it. If nothing within you stays rigid, outward things will disclose themselves. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle and it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. The Fire Book. The Fire Book describes fighting as fire and emphasizes the importance of strategy. It criticizes those who focus only on small techniques and highlights the need for training in various forms of combat. It emphasizes the value of understanding the enemy's strategy, strength, and resources to defeat them. It suggests that one can become a master of strategy by training alone with a sword. Examining the environment and using advantageous positions in battle is also highlighted. The text introduces 3 methods to forestall the enemy: attacking before the enemy, waiting for the enemy's attack and countering it, and attacking simultaneously with the enemy. It emphasizes the need to take the lead and understand the enemy's intentions to achieve victory. Specific strategies are discussed, including knowing the enemy's disposition in battle, treading down the enemy's attack, recognizing when the enemy is about to collapse, and thinking from the enemy's perspective. Adapting and changing techniques to overcome the enemy is important. The Wind Book. The Wind Book discusses various traditions and schools of strategy and approaches in order to grasp the essence of Musashi's school. Musashi criticizes schools that rely on specific techniques or weapons, such as extra-long swords, as they fail to appreciate the true principles of strategy. He argues that relying solely on strength or dexterity is not enough to win, and that the way of strategy requires a deeper understanding. Musashi also critiques schools that place too much emphasis on attitudes, defensive postures, or fixating on specific body parts during combat. He advocates for a more fluid and adaptable approach where the spirit is focused on attacking the enemy and exploiting their weaknesses. Musashi explains the importance of footwork, urging practitioners to maintain control over their movements and adjust their speed according to the situation. He also cautions against valuing speed over rhythm and stresses the need for deliberate and precise actions. Overall, the Wind Book provides insights into different schools of strategy while promoting a holistic and adaptable approach that values wisdom, adaptability, and a deep understanding of the art of combat. The Void Book. The Book of the Void begins by explaining that the spirit of the void is a state of nothingness beyond human knowledge. The void represents emptiness or non-existence. Musashi suggests that by understanding things that exist, you can know that which does not exist. Musashi states that in the void, there is virtue and the absence of evil. They assert that wisdom, principle, and the way exist within the void, while the spirit represents nothingness. Overall, the Book of the Void explores the concept of the void as a state of nothingness. It focuses on the need for discipline, practice, and clarity of mind to achieve a true understanding of the void and its significance in life. Miyamoto Musashi, the enigmatic master of the sword, embodied a relentless pursuit of excellence that transcended the boundaries of his time. With each stroke of his blade, he carved his name into the annals of history, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and indomitable spirit. Musashi's extraordinary journey serves as a testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit and the power of unwavering determination.